Hi, Lenore here, and I want to prepare you for what you're going to see when you actually take your midterm. So, currently it says Cabrera Podcast Midterm Exam, please watch, because I want you to watch and see how it works. So, you would click there. Of course, it wouldn't say practice midterm, it would just say midterm. And you would see the instructions. Midterm has a time limit of 3 hours. Once you begin, you must complete it because you only have one attempt. And I recommend you find a nice, quiet location where you won't be bothered and you can put aside 3 solid hours. Now, this, of course, is a practice podcast, so of course there's no points. The actual number of points will be 200. And I'm not shuffling the answers because they need to be, you're going to type them in. And 3 hours is actually 180 minutes. I'm a little softy and I give you an extra 20 minutes, so it's 200 minutes. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to see one question. And this one question, it's for the Harris Delivery Service, January 1 of this year. I'm asking you to prepare the journal entry. So A, the journal entry, Rudy invested $80,000 in Harris Delivery Service. So we would debit cash, right? And we would credit, we can call it Rudy Capital or excuse me, I'm using the wrong exam, but common stock or capital stock. And that would also be 80,000. And I would add the explanation, original investment. Now, here's why you get that extra 20 minutes. Some students will type it right into this little box, but I can tell you that you might want to use Excel or Word. Type it in there and do a copy paste. It's up to you. So once you finish the first one, click next, and you'll get the next journal entry that you need to prepare. So we're still with the same company. Harris provided delivery service to a customer for a total of $72,000. Cash customers paid $16,000 in cash, and the remaining customers put the amount owed on account. So we received cash from customers, right? And you can do whatever you want, but it's $16,000. You can put cash, customers, or just cash. And then we have a second debit, and this is going to be accounts receivable, right? Because the rest put it on account. And that's going to be the difference between $72,000 and $16,000. And of course, I'm sitting here without a calculator. So let me find a calculator. So here's something for you to do prior to taking your exam. Make sure you have a little calculator here. So 72, put it here so you can read it, 1,000 less the 16,000, which was cash. So 56,000 are going to be these customers who didn't pay immediately. And then the credit will be to the revenue or the delivery service. Oops, 72. Now, I know it doesn't line up correctly. You can use these different indents, or you can use, like I said, Word or Excel, format it there, and just drop it in here. I indicate debits and credits, especially when taking the test, because if you don't, I won't know whether you want to debit this account or credit this account. So again, the explanation is provided services. That's all I'm looking for. And then you would hit next, and then you would have the third question, the fourth question. And then after this, I'm going to go over here and zoom through these journal entries. After you get a multiple, like I think this was 8 journal entries, I'm then going to ask you to prepare an unadjusted trial balance for the company. And this must be in proper format. What does this mean? It needs a heading. And then we need to know what it is, unadjusted trial balance. I think that's correct. And then we need to know the end of the month, so January 31, 2017. I can't remember what the end of the month is. And here you can add a little table. So you can put a table in. I think it's pretty much just 3 columns across. Whoops. Like I said, sometimes it's easier to work with Excel. So the first one would be cash. And you'd have to make this. Here's the formatting issue. You would have to work with this little. So cash. And you would put your debits here, your credits here. Or you might want to say, or instead of that, put account name. The first one would be cash. The next one would be accounts receivable. And so on and so forth. So then you would put the dollar amount here, credit here. The problem with using this as your table rather than Excel is if you accidentally double click, you could end up with 2 names in one cell, and you may not be able to put the dollar amount in there. So that's why I suggest students do it on Excel or Numbers or some spreadsheet program, or even format it in Word. And then you just do the copy paste. Then you would submit it, then you would hit next. The next piece of this would be then prepare retained earnings, a statement of retained earnings. And then the last one would be an income statement. So you'll have regular journal entries, and you'll need to prepare the unadjusted trial balance, then the statement of retained earnings, then the income statement. Then you'll have another problem that will be separate. It'll be a different company, and it will ask you to make some adjusting entries. And then you'll receive some more information, and you'll have to prepare the closing entries. So that's what's going to be on your quiz. I'll make a little note for you. Once you're finished, once you're completely finished, I always suggest go back and check. Go back and check your problems. Make sure, oh yeah, that looks right, okay. And then once you are ready, or at the end of the 200 minutes, so remember, you're going to see right here the time. So you'll know how much time you have. At the end, when you're all done, you've checked everything, you've double-checked everything, then you would submit. And it's going to ask you again if you have any unanswered questions. I do, because I didn't do them all. Then you click OK. Now what happens after this? You will not see any score. I want to repeat that. You will not see any score because I need to score these manually. Okay? I need to score these manually, so you won't see any score. You haven't done anything wrong. And I don't think you can preview it. Oh, you can. No, I'm going to say you can't. You can't preview it once you submit it. Once you submit it, it's done. I can preview it because I am the professor. Okay, so with that said, that's what your test is going to look like. All right, so again, you want to make certain you have a quiet location. Make certain you have a calculator, probably even a piece of paper, pencil, or pen for scratch notes. If you can use Excel or Word, you might want to keep that open so that you can do maybe your exam and then you have put your little journal entry here and then do a copy paste. I would recommend that because you know you're going to be asked for an unadjusted trial balance, so you need to keep track of those journal entries. After you have your unadjusted trial balance, again, you're going to be asked to please prepare your statement of retained earnings and an income statement after that. So that's what it's going to look like. That's what you're going to do. And all of you will get an A, hopefully. So Lenore out.